Hello and welcome to episode 6 of the $500 to $5,000 challenge on Sorare, where, spoiler alert, we have finally won a reward that I think maybe we could sell for a little bit. So before I get into that, I have not looked at the reward yet. It's a tier 3 rare. I'll talk about how that happened. Before we look at the rare and get into all that, let's just update where we have been. So last week left off with building teams for the weekend, I believe, and it was a loser of a weekend. So this lineup here, Sanfrecce did okay. They lost 2-1 on the road to FC Tokyo, which was obviously well within the realm of possibilities. Yuki Nagomi had a terrible game, and then Juan Donetto didn't score a goal, even though Lionel Lopez had a nice all-around game here. So this one was just a 68 points away, mostly because Yuki Nagomi was terrible. That's my ETH grinding team that I use. This was the Challenger Europe team, ran this Rostov defensive stack that we have. They were actually keeping a clean sheet until very late in the game here, but it wouldn't have mattered because Hartberg kept a 0-0 draw with at cash point, which sucks because we were hoping that Hartberg was a bit better than that. I watched parts of this game. Had not watched a Hartberg game before. They're not good. So these guys are just they're probably pretty much a waste at this point. This guy also got his first bench appearance in 15 games, which that happens on Sorare. I don't know how I could have predicted that, but is what it is. Then this was kind of my throwaway lineup. The rest of my Champion America guys, I had Talavera, which he had a good all-around game, even though they lost. Andy Nahar was fine. Frere was good. Gressel was good. And then Yao was on the bench for the entirety of the game, which we knew was a possibility because some of their forwards were coming back for DC, and he's a young kid, so he's just more of a long-term play, anyways. And he's really just there as depth, hopefully to break out later in the season if there's injuries with DC, if he's impressive in training, whatever. But he's not he doesn't have to pay off right away. But it would have been nice if he would have paid off right away because we were 60 points away from a reward here as well. So maybe if he scores a goal, we're in there. So that was the weekend. Then the midweek came, and midweek there was the weekly challenge, which I saw was limiteds only, 50-point average in their last 5 was the top. And so we already had Talavera, we already had Ferreira, and we already had Lionel Lopez fitting that criteria in a matchup that we like because they were at home against New England. Obviously, we got a little lucky because they won 3-0. New England tried to defend the entire game, and then that did not pay off. And Pumas actually ended up advancing from this game after being down 3-0 in the first leg. So that was wild. But I did feel like they were probably going to win this game, and that New England was going to be defending a significant portion because Bruce Arena was talking in the media about basically they have to score the goals. The pressure's all on them. So clearly they were going to be sitting back quite a bit. And so I had those 3 guys. And at that point I was like, all right, shit, I really want to fill out this lineup because the prize pool was all rare cards instead of limiteds, which obviously are worth more. And, we're aiming for the top of the value. And so I was looking for some cheap guys to play that fit in there. And one guy I knew that I wanted was Romel Kyoto. Romel Kyoto is a player in MLS who's been very, very good at times. He's been injured a lot. He's getting older, and so his price was really low, but he has scored multiple 90-point games in a row before, that kind of player in MLS. So he was someone that was on my mind right away. And then I used the tools to sort of search out players who had a last 5 average, but had a good all-around game, and came up with Victor Wanyama. They also both happened to play for Montreal, who were playing at home against Cruz Azul. So I thought, this is probably a toss-up matchup for them. And if Kyoto scores a goal, we could be in a really, really good shape. The problem here, the stupid thing I did, is I should have captained Leonel Lopez. I knew I should have captained Leonel Lopez the whole time. He has a really high floor because he just has a great all-around game. Like here, he gets a 60 with just all-around score, and he averages almost 20 on all-around. So like the captain, I don't know what the hell I was thinking here. I think I did it because I was like, all right, if Romo Kyoto scores a goal or 2 goals, I really want, to maximize this 1.5x here. And so if he's like 80 or 90, I don't think Leonel Lopez has like an 80 or 90 upside. So I want to captain him. It was greedy. It was stupid. It cost me a tier 2 rare. It probably cost me a tier 1 rare. Let's see, 30 points. No, not quite. Didn't cost me a tier 1 rare, but it definitely cost me a tier 2 rare. And so that's the way she goes sometimes. That was dumb. That was my bad. Gotta accept that one. Okay, before we go and open this reward, this tier 3 rare, let's just look at what we got going for the weekend. I'm not really that excited about my teams for the weekend, to be honest. This is the one that I think has the best chance. We have Pumas as favorites at home against Necaxa. I doubt that they keep a clean sheet. Necaxa has the highest expected goals on the road in Liga MX, so I would expect they probably score a goal, and this lineup is kind of limited by that. Then we have Julian Gressel on the road in Toronto. Toronto's been pretty bad, and so Gressel takes all the set pieces for DC, so I figured if they're going to score a goal off a set piece, he's going to get an assist. We'll throw him in there. Leonel Lopez, our guy. We did not make the mistake of not captaining him this time. This is probably my favorite player in the squad so far, and I think we'll have Leonel Lopez for quite a while. Romo Kyoto is on the road at Atlanta, who is not a stout defensive team, so he could score a goal. He is also the only forward I had available. Oh, I should update how I ended up getting Kyoto within the budget. I had to sell Dineno from Pumas. He ended up scoring 2 goals in that game, so that sell's probably not going to look too good. I sold him for $66 and then bought Kyoto for $55. I had a little balance to buy Wanyama at 15.5, and then I also ended up selling Mozo because he was at a profit, and Mozo is just a little too random of a player, I think, for us to hold when we had him at a profit. So I have $25 on the site right now, and then whatever I get from this rare reward. Okay, these are the weekend teams. This Challenger Europe team's bad. It's a bad matchup for these guys, especially, and actually it's a bad matchup for all of them. That is not going to win anything. And then we have Sanfrecce at home against Kawasaki Frontale, which is obviously a tough matchup, but they're both good teams. I would expect that Kawasaki's going to win this game. They're the favorites, but if they don't, then we have our defensive stack going there, and we have our little Consadole Sapporo, who are playing at Cerezo Osaka, which I think is a good matchup for them. So I captained Komai, and hopefully Karaki scores a goal. We'll see. And so those are the teams for the weekend. I think obviously this one has a chance at like a tier 3. This one has a chance at a tier 3, and then this is dead before the week even begins, I think. Okay. All right. So that is where we stand at the moment. Let us go over to Sorare and let's see what we got here with this tier 3 rare. The rewards. Okay, so this is the comment I got from playing this week. which is funny because this guy absolutely smashes. He's also very popular in Challenger Europe, I'm pretty sure. All right, so let's see what we got for the rare. Tier 3 rare, we have Yusuf Gazabigovic, and it looks like he is a 21-year-old defender for Sturm Graz. That makes me concerned that this guy doesn't play, that he's a U23 that's in the tier 3 rare pool. That's not a great sign to start, but we'll see. Let's go check him out. He's got a 39 average, so I think he might play. Gazabigovic, he must be an outside back. Gazabigovic. Did I spell that? Nope. Gazabigovic. Bigovic. Can't be mixing those up. The Gabovic and the. Okay, so it looks like he is about a 0.05 type player. Is he a starter? Let's see. He started. He is a starter for Sturm Graz. He must play outside back, huh? He sure does. And he has a lot of lost possessions, would be my guess. And duels lost. Yeah, so this is what you get when you get a tier 3 rare. We are going to try and sell him for sure for the 0.05 there. 0.05 is honestly not bad for a tier 3 rare. Like, what is that? $140 probably US dollars. So I will go ahead and list him, and then I'm gonna pretend that we've already sold him. I think I'm gonna be able to get 0.05 for him. Let me see what his offers are like previous. I don't know what happened there, but okay. So 0.0554 2 days ago, 0.0550, 0.05. Okay, so I think we're gonna actually call him 0.055. So what is 0.055 in USD? We're gonna sell Mr. Gazibigovic. So that doesn't really matter. For 0.055, and we're gonna go ETH to USD. We're gonna call him $159. Okay. So if we were to sell him, sorry, I'm gonna put that in the target price. If we were to sell him, we now have $180 to work with. So let's take a look at our squads and sort of think about maybe what could use some upgrading. Okay, so right now we play this Pumas stack, which I like. I mean, I like it enough. I don't love it, but I like Leonel Lopez a lot. These two are fine. Pumas concedes a lot of goals, so having a defensive stack for them is slightly problematic, but they're good enough that like when they're facing the bottom of the table, like Mazatlan, Juarez, those kind of teams, they're still going to be favored to keep a clean sheet. So I think keeping them is fine. These other two positions in Global All-Star, I don't love very much. Romo Kyoto, I think, is a player I'd like to keep because if he hits good form, I think that he could be number one, worth more, and number two, he can score really, really well. So I think he's a good depth piece, but I think I want to add a forward and a midfielder, and I want to add some guys that are just strong players that I'm familiar with from MLS, I think, because I tried to expand into Asia and Challenger, and I don't have as much familiarity with these guys, and that's how you end up with, Kynes with his first non-start in 15 games, and Yuki Nogami had a 50 previous average, and then he just goes out and puts up a 15 for me. So I can avoid that in MLS because I just know the guys better, and so I'm gonna go look at MLS and see what our budget can do for us there. So actually, I should just track an ETH. By the way, I'm realizing that my own stubbornness about like not believing in ETH or whatever, it makes this confusing. So I think I'm gonna for the next video change my spreadsheet to track an ETH because it just doesn't really make sense because I'm buying the cards in ETH and all that and whatever. I'll still track the withdrawals in money, but as far as what we do on Sorare, I'm going to track an ETH. Okay, so we have 0.062 to spend. So let's go and just look at Sorare data for, let's scout, and let's just do player rankings. Let's just see, like, what can we get, like, a really top player in MLS for a midfielder? Let's go to MLS. Well, let's do America because I do watch quite a bit of Legal MX now too, so I have a decent idea about the guys there. They do. This does mean that the Argentinian guys are going to be in here, and I don't know anything about them. Okay, so Ilya Sanchez is available for 0.0258, and he has an all-around of 20 in his last few games. The only thing I don't like about Ilya Sanchez is he's pretty similar to Leonel Lopez in that he's a defensive midfielder that doesn't have like a ton of decisive upside. Obviously, you can see here in his decisive 40, he's actually below 35, which is not ideal because that means, more often than he gets a goal or an assist, he either comes off the bench or gets a 15 for an anti-decisive action. So that's not ideal. Alex Ring. Okay, Alex Ring's an option. I actually that seems low for Alex Ring. Because he does take some set pieces for Austin, I've noticed. And then obviously he has a good all-around score. And, his last 5 is actually a little lower on the all-around scale. And I would expect him to probably get back up into here long-term. And then he has more decisive lately. Okay, so Alex Ring is definitely something we're going to think about. Diego Charo, very similar sort of player to Leonel Lopez in that the upside just isn't there. Obviously, like these dudes, Carlos Gil, João Paulo. I mean, João Paulo is also attainable for us, which is interesting. So there's some bangers in here. What about Emmanuel Reynoso? What's his limited price at? This might be the guy. Because he's actually more of an opposite player of Leonel Lopez, where like his all-around scores are okay, not great, obviously. Like he has a -5. That's painful. But he has, a 30, a 20, 20, 20, 13, right? So we're most of the time we're above 10, and then, potentially huge. But what I like about him is his decisive upside. He takes all the set pieces. He is just he's just a traditional number 10, gets lots of assists. He's also around the box quite a bit. I just kind of think that like he could really get back to this range, like really good, solid green scores soon. I think that Minnesota is just generally underrated right now. They have, I think, one of the best attacks in the league and a decent defense. So I think Reynoso's coming. I think we're getting Reynoso once we sell our boy here. So we're gonna call Reynoso's target price. Let's see what the last. Oh, he has an auction up. Okay, so we're gonna try and get him for like 0.024. That's gonna be the goal with Reynoso. So we're gonna buy Reynoso midfield. We're gonna call his price 0.024. And I'll get all this to Trackneath by the next video. And then so at that point, 0.024. So we have 0.062. I could do this in my head, or I could embarrass myself by doing it with a calculator. We have 0.038 to spend on a forward. Okay, so I don't think the process that we just used to find the midfielder is going to work for a forward. So let's go to Player Finder, and we're going to call the best market price 0.004. Okay, Roma Kyoto right now is very decisive dependent. So let's try and find a guy who has an okay all-around game for a forward. So 8 is pretty good for a forward and all-around score. And let's see if there's any American guys available for up to 0.04 that are starters that have 8 all around. Okay, I'm pretty sure this guy just got injured, is what I saw. Okay. Ooh, Diego Rubio, who we used to have. It's a little bit painful to buy him back, probably at a significant. Let's see, what did we sell Mr. Rubio for? Where is he? Okay, so here he is. Oh, I ended up trading him, I think, and then I had to sell the pieces. I think I sold him. It looks like I sold him for about 60, 70-ish dollars. So I imagine that's right around what we could buy him for today. 0.028. So 80. So we're gonna buy up on him. The thing I like about Diego Rubio is at first I was worried that Colorado was going to buy another forward. They still might, but I don't think Diego Rubio is going to lose his spot. And he's on the ball like a lot for Colorado for a forward. I mean, he really plays more like a false 9. Although in some games he is, stretching lines and scoring goals a lot. And so I think he's a bit of a safer play than I was thinking he was when I sold him, because I thought he might go to the bench. The reason he came off the bench here is because they were just coming off this loss to Comunicaciones. He's going to be the starter. So let's just look at his all-around scores so far this year. So we had a 3, we had an 18, we had a 2 and a bench appearance, 10, 6, 7. Okay, so this is getting back to last year, 21, 10. So he does go and pick up the ball deep quite a bit, and his decisives don't have to be goals. He's not just like an out-and-out goal scorer. He's also creates for others quite a bit and has some has some assist upside. Obviously, also it's Colorado is my favorite team, so I'm going to be watching him no matter what and rooting for him no matter what. So it doesn't hurt my feelings to have him, in my team when he scores a goal, because I'm going to be triple excited on that front. Yeah, I think we're gonna bring Diego Rubio back. But obviously, like a lot of people are really stubborn about like, oh, I sold this guy for less than what he's worth now. I don't want to buy him again. I don't care about that. I'm here to make profit where profit is available, and I'm not concerned with whatever the mental gymnastics of buying a guy that you previously sold are. I think I'm going to get him. I think I like him the most out of this list. Gonzalo Higuain is also a decent option, but I don't know. He's more expensive, and it seems like he might be going to the bench because him and the coach are like having weird fights in the media. So yeah, I think Diego Rubio is a better option. The other one would be this guy. I just don't know that much about Argentinian league, and I also don't know like when they're going to be playing compared to the rest of my team. Yeah, I mean, this guy has nice all around game. I don't. Does he actually play forward? So he's like a winger. It looks like. Although when was this game? Because Thiago Almeida is at Atlanta now. Okay, so he's an option too. I just don't know as much about him. I know Diego Rubio is going to play when the rest of my team plays, so I think I'm going to buy Rubio at 0.028, and that's a good price, I think, too. I mean, that's lower than his 3-day average. He does have some auctions going, so maybe I could get him for even less, which would be great. But we'll make his target price 0.028. I don't know why I put Challenger on that, but whatever. America. Okay, so now we have 0.01 left. I wonder if there's another midfielder or defender that is available that has a good all-around game in that price range. Let's go to the player finder again. Maybe I want an Asian player this time just for depth on that team, because that team does seem like it has it does have okay upside. Like, I don't think it's completely dead like my challenger team is. So let's try and find a depth piece for Asia. Okay, let's see if we can find someone who has a 15 all around for less than 0.01. It's gonna be a big ask, but let's see if it happens. We have options. Okay, so this guy is below. He's in J League too, I'm pretty sure, because I think I used to have him. We have this guy who's a defender on a really bad team in J League. I'm pretty sure that Avispa is one of the worst teams. Interesting. Most of my guys are J League though, so I don't know if I want to get a K League guy. All right, let's look at Tanaka, since we have other guys from Consadole. Obviously, the fact that he's a defender kind of hurts us. Maybe I want a midfielder because we already have two defenders there, and maybe I want an option to win Sanfries isn't playing, when Sanfries doesn't have good clean sheet odds, maybe I want an option to get rid of Yuki. Okay, why is this guy so low? Did he get injured? Okay, so he has 100 in his past for a different club. Has his role changed significantly for this one? I mean, it looks like he plays center, like an attacking midfield position for Nagoya Grampus, which is a pretty good team. That was obviously a tough matchup there. Let's see if the other scores are a tough matchup too. No, not particularly difficult matchup. Good matchup. Scores okay. Doesn't have a decisive. I'm going to take the shot on this guy. We'll just hold him for a while and see what his all around game is like now for Nagoya. Obviously, it looks like it's taken a step back at this time, but who knows? I mean, it looks like he's playing a good position for a good all around game. Like center midfielders are obviously the guys you want. Sometimes you want deeper guys like this Inagaki. It looks like is kind of their main line breaker, and so maybe that's where some of his points have went. But I'm happy to take the shot at him with a guy who has 100 in his past for less than 0.01. So we'll call his target price 0.0095. Maybe we'll have to just buy this 0.099. We'll see. So we're gonna put him in our buys. His name was Sento, midfielder. I mean, he can also, fill in on our global all-star. He's just depth no matter what. So we're gonna call him 0.0099. Sweet. Okay, so that I think is going to do it for me today. Basically, I did want to make a quick point about that weekly challenge. I think that to play Sorare profitably from like a small budget, like we're trying to do here, you really have to like target those small weeks and target those small competitions where you have a better chance of winning. And what I mean by small is like we were in a situation where the cards had to be less than 50 points, so that limits the pool immensely. They had to be limited. That doesn't really limit the pool very much. It was a midweek challenge. So midweeks have less games, less players, less managers. And then the rewards pool was still 100 rewards for about 3,000 people. And so at that point, you have like just the implied odds of 100 divided by 3,000 is much better than most weeks. And also we have those limiting factors there, right? I would have liked to have won a tier 2 rare. I think that a tier 2 rare was well within the scope of possibilities there. Even a tier 1 rare was probably well within the scope of possibilities there, right? And so really finding and narrowing in on the game selection that you want, finding the weeks where you really want to go all in and make sure that you have a good lineup, is part of playing profitably from a small budget. And I mean, here, even though we got a tier 3 rare who's a guy who barely scores anything at all, right? He's like a 39 last average. We're able to sell him for $159 and then really improve our teams, right? And so now we're playing with a budget that's slightly bigger, that looks slightly bigger, right? Like every week now, I'm going to have the option to look at Reynoso or Lionel Lopez, or I'm playing both of them. I'm going to have the option to look at Rubio or Karaki if he's in a good matchup, or Kyoto if he's in a good matchup, right? So we're starting to have a gallery that like is going to win rewards on a more regular basis because we were able to target, one game week where we thought we had a significant edge. So that is going to do it for me today. If you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You can also follow me on Twitter. My handle is HEFFELDAA on Twitter. I am going to start tracking my MLS bets on BetStamp as well. So if you go to my Twitter, I'll post that this week. And I've had some success betting on MLS in the past, and obviously it can be useful information for Sorare as well. So if you want to follow that as well, that'll be out there. And I will be back next week sometime to build with hopefully these new players. I just got to get this guy sold, and then get the guys I was talking about into the team. And we will see you on the next one.